Hello everyone, welcome to Metro Matters. I'm Mary Sitt. Metro has 18 trains that run 20 hours a day and carry an average of 40,000 plus riders a day. At night, when most of us are asleep, Metro has a maintenance crew of cleaners and technicians that work hard to make sure our trains and tracks are clean and safe. Today, let's take a peek behind the scenes and find out what happens to the trains at night. With us to tell us more is Scott Grogan, Metro's Senior Director of Rail Operations. Scott is responsible for ensuring our 7.5-mile light rail system is reliable and efficient, with an annual operating budget of $14.7 million. Scott, thanks for being with us.
You're welcome.
Scott, you know, we have the most successful light rail line in the country on a per rider, per car basis or something. Can you explain that?
Per vehicle, we carry more people than any other system that's out there. That means as more people ride, we have a fleet of 18 vehicles, and our annual ridership is roughly 12 million. Look at that on a per vehicle basis, you know, it's 660,000 people per car per year.
So we are cramming in a lot of passengers in each train car, correct?
That's correct.
What does that do to the maintenance? That means we have to do a lot more maintenance for this?
Well, what it does, it affects certain systems, your suspensions and your braking systems. You know, when we have to put in maintenance programs, overhauls, a little bit earlier than we typically would.
Because it's carrying more weight, right?
That's right. It's more of a load. You know, it's a load. The loading factor is really what drives it. The mileage and the loading factor. So, when we stay on top of the maintenance, like I said, we're in the process right now of overhauling the brake system.
Scott, what happens to these trains at night?
Well, at night they come into the yard, and they're staged for cleaning.
Okay.
They all go through our cleaning platform, where we have a system that we use to clean the trains, the wet dry vac system, where we can apply chemicals, get aggressive with cleaning, and then suck the chemicals up with all the dirt, grime, and debris. When then the train goes through the car wash and gets staged for cleaning. We wipe down all surfaces, the grab hands, the seats, the windows.
And you know, people are concerned about that with swine flu season.
We've always used this hospital-grade disinfectant, which is CDC approved, and to address not only the swine flu virus, but also the typical influenza virus. So we're not really doing anything different than before. We're just making sure that we keep the process in place.
So you're wiping down poles,
stanchions,
doors,
windows, push buttons on the doors, any surface that potentially you could come in contact with.
Seats.
The seats as well. I mean, they do a great job.
They do look
They
good.
do an unbelievable job for such an environment that we're operating in.
What about train seats that are really, really soiled? I mean, they're filthy. What do you do with those?
We'll attempt to clean it. We have on the wet dry vac system. We can put chemicals down and try to clean it that way and suck the debris up. If it's too bad that the system locally doesn't handle it, we'll actually remove that seat and put in a new seat. And then once we have enough of those seats together, we'll try to steam clean them or do some aggressive power wash them with some aggressive cleaning agents. If that's unsuccessful, then we send the seat out to be reupholstered.
You have people who actually go out every night and look at those trains and physically inspect trains, right, with a little handheld computer like the UPS guy holds. Can you talk about that?
Zonar is the name of the handheld device, and what we have set up is we have a daily inspection, which is on the Zonar device, and there's little RFID tags all throughout the train. What's an RFID tag? Little red tags? It's just a tag that the handheld device, when it gets close enough, it beeps and knows, it registers that I was in that area.
Okay.
So they're on the outside, so they have to walk around and at least touch the zones. That means that they've been outside the vehicle. Inside the car, there's one in the cab, and there's one in various sections throughout the vehicle. You wouldn't know it if you weren't looking at it, because they're pretty well hidden.
No, so what are they checking now?
What they're doing is in each section, there's in the cab, there's various requirements that they have to check. There's the requirements of the TOD, or the train operator display, check for any faults, check for the functionality of the doors, open, close the doors, make sure there's not a fault logged on the vehicle. Then they start their way down through the vehicle, and they open and close the doors, make sure the sensitive edges are working properly, make sure the air conditioning and everything is functioning properly.
Once they're done, great air conditioning, by the way. I love it.
It is great.
So they check all that with
They check all systems, the brakes, propulsion, doors, air conditioning, and the majority of that can actually be checked right from the TOD itself for health monitoring. So we know they're in the cab, we know how long they're in their cab, and know how long it takes to essentially do this inspection. It's time, date stamped, and they do that on every car they get on. So there's an ID card that says, hey, I'm 101, and I'm Bob, Bob the builder. and I'm on 101.
And somebody back in the office can see who's inspecting what. It's all
That's
showing
right.
up on the
It's
computer.
all electronically recorded, and there's a history behind it. How long did it take? What he looked at. The biggest key is to make sure that there's no issues for pull-out in the morning.
Okay.
And you want to have enough time available. If you find something, that you have time to get it into the shop and start repairs on it.
Scott, do they check for the sand? I know there's like a little sandbox in each train,
done,
right?
That's
Tell me
done
about
on
the
clean,
sandbox.
That's done on the cleaning platform. And we have a sand, on each side is like a gas tank. There's 4 sandboxes, 1 on each end. And there's a little window inside that if you look underneath the seat, you can see whether it needs sand or not. And we have sand hoppers that pump. It's like filling your gas tank up. We'll fill the sandboxes up.
It's not playground sand.
No, it's a grade 3 blasting sand. When the rails get slippery, or there's oil or grease, and there could be a potential for the wheels to slip or lock up, so it spins, slides. So they're either spinning or going to slide. The computer on the train sees this and says, okay, I'm going to dump sand out so that I increase. It's like putting salt down.
Right.
In the winter up north, you know, or sand on the roads. It increases the coefficient of friction, so it's going to minimize the number of spin or slide.
So the train operator doesn't have to worry about it.
We install the button on the train as well, so if there's a slippery area like in the fall and the spring when the leaves fall, the residue on the rails is very slippery. So we'll have the first train going out in the morning dumping sand in these locations to prevent, you know, the guy behind him from experiencing what he felt. So.
Okay. Scott, we're going to take a little short break right now, but we'll be right back with more. Stay tuned as we learn more of what happens to the trains at night. Stay with us.